Ladies and gentlemen.
What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? 2 to 3 years in the making, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. Welcome to Mars, baby. This show is going to be out of this world. This show is going to be something you've never seen before. Mars, aka the Mike and Rob Show, brought to you by Rob of Rob's 2 Cents, aka Rob Scott, aka Magic Johnson, and Ice Cube's best friend, aka the Notorious, aka Joy Scott's man, and aka the man, the myth, the legend himself. I am Mike Hughes of Mike on the Mike podcast. You can find me on the Shy Dot Kid. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mars. This is our first episode. Rob, baby,
Welcome to Mars, baby.
what's cracking, my boy?
It's about to be out of this world. How you feeling, my boy?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. We got something brewing right now that I think is bigger than the both of us. I
Yeah.
think is bigger than anything we've done before. I'm
Yeah.
excited about this. I mean, we had bullshit. We had late night with Mike and Rob. We had a lot of fun stuff. We had the Cube stuff, the Big Three stuff, which we're definitely going to talk about throughout this series, throughout this podcast. If you haven't checked out the Ice Cube video already, what are you doing? Go on Rob's 2 Cents right now. Check it out on YouTube. Ice Cube interview breaking down the Big Three and so much more. But Rob, man, let's talk a little bit of ball, man. Like, let's talk about what Mars is. Break down to me what you want to get out of this podcast, why we're different, man. Talk to me a little bit about it. What's the vision?
We gonna be telling people the truth, and that's all I gotta tell. I know you guys are used to seeing Mike on the mic. You guys are used to seeing Skytown the man as being too modest. My boy Mike Hughes be putting in that work, and I know y'all used to seeing Rob's 2 Cents. You're about to see one of the two biggest personalities in sports talk come together and take y'all out of this world. Earth is fun. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of fun on Earth, but we about to take y'all to Mars. We gonna be talking about everything. We're not just limiting ourselves to Chicago sports. We're going to be bringing you sports on a national, global scale, and we're going to tell the truth. The people come to us for the truth, and that's what we're going to tell you.
100%, 100%. And first and foremost, before we get into it, because Rob, I didn't even tell you. I didn't even tell you what's going on. I didn't even tell you what we were going to talk about today. But got off the phone with our guy in Colorado, our man, the myth, the legend himself of Bench Mob Chicago. Mars is sponsored by Bench Mob Chicago all 2023, all 2024 season. Going to be a lot of fun. If you want to get your Bench Mob Chicago gear, Rob and I rock it every single day. It's a lot of fun. You can get wristbands, beanies, hoodies, t-shirts, or you can follow them on Instagram at Bench Mob Chicago. You can get all your Chicago Bulls news. Most of it's not positive, but it's Chicago Bulls news. You can get box scores, bench mobber of the night, the best Chicago Bulls player off the bench. Me and Rob are going to get into later why that's going to be Torrey Craig the majority of this season. But it's going to be a lot of fun, man. Always appreciate the sponsors. Always appreciate them tuning in and helping us out with everything we do. But let's talk a little bit about ball. Talk about why we're here right now. Rob, man, this offseason just felt different. It felt like old school NBA, early 2000s, 90s basketball. Guys are moving around, but no real super team in sight. How are you feeling about this offseason, especially with coming down to the last couple of days of it? We get Dame Dollar news and so much more. How do you think this offseason impacts the future of the NBA?
First of all, I mean, we were all waiting on the big news to happen with Dame Dollar. We knew that he had mentioned to the organization, I don't want to go anywhere except for Miami. Everybody thought, man, we about to see this Jimmy Butler, Dame Dollar experience happen. and that the Miami Heat are going to now be one of the scariest teams in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, did the Portland Trail Blazers throw us for a loophole, because to send Dame to Milwaukee, to me, was one of those trades that can impact the landscape of the NBA. Now, it's yet to be seen, because there were some other things that happened right after Dame got traded. They said, okay, Milwaukee said, we're going to go ahead and send Drew to Portland. And Portland said, nah, Drew, we're going to do you a favor and put you on a contender. We in
Mm-hmm.
rebuild mode over here. And then they sent Drew Holiday to the Boston Celtics. And a lot of people, except for you, Mike Hughes, because you understand the impact of Drew, that was a huge trade, and a lot of people are not paying attention to the implications of what Drew Holiday to the Celtics mean right after they had announced that they had recruited the services of Kristaps Porzingis. So right now, I think the NBA, especially the Eastern Conference, is going to be a two-team battle. However, Miami, if they have anything to say about it, they might be doing some things. We know that they kept uh,
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Hero, and Tyler Hero, unfortunately, has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder due to the fact nobody wanted him.
For
They,
sure.
that's the reason that Dame didn't end up on Miami, is because they said you have nothing to offer us for the caliber talent of Dame. And Tyler said, "Okay, I'm gonna show you guys something." And I know Miami's been winning some ugly games. Only been the two early games in the season so far, but they getting down. And I know Jimmy had to get it together, but we don't see Jimmy wake up till it's playoff time anyway.
100%.
But
Do not put Jimmy in any of your parlays until about April, May, because
you
that
gotta
man,
wait till it's playoff time. He only
man,
wakes up when it's time for real action to happen. But Mike, let me ask you, man, how do you feel about what happened in this NBA offseason, man, with all the trades and the noise that happened surrounding the Dame and Drew swap?
yeah, for sure. First, I'm a big True Holiday guy.
Yeah.
Big True Holiday. Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, True Holiday. Those are always my favorite guys. I'm gonna even, I'm gonna itch even saying it, but Patrick Beverly was even one of my favorites for a while. I hate to admit it. His time on the Bulls, amazing. Never forget. Mike Hughes was in the building when Patrick Beverly hit 7 threes for the Chicago Bulls. I was there against the Miami Heat. That was cracking. That was cracking. I gotta give some love to Pat. But he a Philly boy now, so F him. But I think the impact is crazy because what we're also going to get into what happened with Beal and Poole and obviously Marcus Smart and Porzingis and company. But I think to keep on Miami, I think it was very important to have that conversation. You didn't miss once with Dame.
hmm
You missed twice because you also weren't in on True Holiday. You let Milwaukee and Boston get better. And those are the teams that you saw in both of the Eastern conferences that you played against them the first time in the bubble. And then the
hmm
second time, obviously being a year ago. But,
hmm
you have that conversation, Rob, and I think it's very grimacing. If I'm Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler, you
hmm
have that conversation about, like, we literally did not get better this year. Tyler Hero, all power to him, over 25 points last night. I believe he had 27 or 28 points he finished with.
hmm
Absolutely amazing to see him get after it, get back to who he used to be. Me and you sat up here a year ago. I said he's gone Jack Harlow on us, man. He's gone Hollywood. He's focusing too much on the Jack Harlow tour with the Instagram models and all that other stuff he's got going on. Man, you got to get back in the session, man. You got to get back in the gym. Let's put some work in. And it seems like he's done nothing but that. No Limit Hero is back and better than ever.
hmm
So, I think that's great. But somebody I want to keep an eye on for the Miami Heat is Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon is in the very same situation that I believe you saw True Holiday in Portland, except they haven't moved him yet. I think a big
hmm
reason why they haven't moved him is he isn't fully healthy. I think we all kind of understood that. That was a big part of why the first Memphis trade didn't go down, was because Malcolm Brogdon wasn't fully healthy. So they had to revamp that. And that first one we're going to talk about later was crazy. That was cracking. Before the 3-game deal, it was just straight up Malcolm Brogdon. But I do think it's going to be interesting. I think it will be. And I think if I were to guess where Malcolm Brogdon's going to go, I think the Miami Heat have to be in the works to make that deal happen. I mean, they
hmm
need another guard in this building. They need somebody to help facilitate the floor. And Malcolm Brogdon brings just that. I also don't see him wanting to stay in Portland past November 1st. I would even
hmm
say I think he's probably already over it. But, I think it was great, man. But, man, let's talk about another one. The Splash Brothers have
hmm
now joined teams with the point guard and Chris Paul. You obviously have DeAndre Ayton going to the Phoenix Suns, not the Phoenix Suns, the Portland Trail Blazers from the Phoenix
hmm
Suns. You got
Mm-hmm.
Nurkic going all over. So many things are happening, but the Splash Brothers specifically, Rob, in the West, Chris Paul is now there. What has that been like for you the first two games? Obviously, last night, a effortless performance, 40 plus points. I believe he finished with 41. An
41,
amazing
baby.
performance. Clay
Yeah.
is kind of getting the feet back under him. He's guarding
Yeah.
Kevin Durant. That was a great performance. We're going to talk about that game in a little bit. But what have you seen so far, and how did you initially feel when you heard Chris Paul basically for Jordan Poole? How did you feel about it?
I think it was, honestly, I wanted the Warriors to get a little bigger in the paint.
Mm,
No offense to Looney, and I think Looney does a hell of a job, but we saw that that was one of the things that hindered them last year. They were just getting beat up. Once the Warriors got past Sacramento, I believe they had to play the Lakers, and Anthony Davis kind of had his way. So I was like, man, let's get these guys some size in the paint. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I do think Draymond, now that he's gotten his contract, he's gonna be looking to play a little bit better right now, dealing with some high ankle sprain injuries, and we know high ankle sprains can be terrible. But I think what Chris Paul can do with the Warriors will be more beneficial to him if he comes off the bench. It works with that second unit. To me personally, I think that he kind of slows down the pace, because Chris Paul is one of those traditional point guards where he's looking to kind of set the floor and wait till everybody get in spots. With a Warrior, it's more of a high octane offense where they're in constant movement. And last night they found out a way to make it work. I think they used Chris Paul similar to a Draymond Green situation, in which you just have him stand at the top of the key and you let Steph and Clay run their routes till one of those guys pop open. But I think the Warriors have a couple of things to figure out. They need to figure out the Clay Thompson situation. Do I stay with Clay? Because let's be honest, Clay has not been playing up to par, and it's not just this season, in this very young season so far. We've seen it last season, and we've seen it on his return about a year and a half ago. So right
mm,
now, it's like we've given Clay enough time to show us if he's back. And me and you had a discussion about this a couple of times. Old Clay is gone.
yeah.
He's gone and he's never coming back, unfortunately. And I think his talents might be well suited to come off the bench, because right now he's not able to get off the ball to his spots quickly. And I honestly think that the Warriors might explore Darnell Mooney and see what they. Well, I'm saying Darnell. I think Moody. I forgot his first name, but I'm getting him confused with the Bears player.
Yup, yup.
But but Moody, man, I think they're gonna explore to see what they can do with Moody and how that plays out for him, because that kid can play ball. But
Yeah,
so far, the Chris Paul experiment has been okay.
right.
It's the jury is still out on that.
For sure. And you know what? I also want to put into a key point. Not only is Moody great,
Moses Moody, that's what I
Moses
meant.
Moody.
Yeah,
Also, Kaminga is great too. And I think
yeah.
both of those guys do a lot of great things. And I think they still have that white boy too, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they
DiVincenzo.
got a new one. DiVincenzo is with he's not with the Warriors anymore. I can't remember
I
who.
saw somebody on the bench with
They got
Steve.
a they got a they got a new white boy, so to
Hey,
speak.
Steve Kerr's always got one
You
in the
gotta have at least one.
man. But did you see Steve's outfit? Steve Kerr's outfit last night? He dressed up as Hunter.
Yes,
That
sir.
was insane. That was insane. That was cracking. I gotta respect it. I liked it a lot. But no, man, I think listen, and everybody knows, everybody watching knows I am the biggest Klay Thompson fan. I have rode with that man for as long as I could remember, since way before time, since way before that beard connected, since way before he had a clean fade. Remember, he used to just have the waves. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like he was doing it, man. And I think the thing about Klay, man, is everybody's game evolves.
Yeah.
Everybody's game evolves, and the come down is so much faster than the come up.
Mm-hmm.
The come up takes time. The come up takes work.
Ain't that the
But the
truth?
fall down, I mean, that's just what it is, man. You know what I mean? And you got to elevate your game. Derrick Rose is the staple to me, to a guy who said, "I'm gonna jump out the gym on you. You ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna stop me." Lose that, what happens? Now Derek talks about all the time. I'm playing. This is just like chess to me. I'm playing games. I'm trying to think 3 steps ahead of everyone else. I'm trying to pivot. I'm trying to maneuver in a way that nobody else can. I'm trying to use angles and use the mathematics of it to really be able to get a perfect shot off. And it's a whole different. I mean, when's the last time you saw Derrick Rose dunk a basketball?
That's a
And
big
that's my problem with Clay right now. Clay needs to figure out Clay. What I loved was seeing him guarding Kevin Durant
one.
in the Suns game, because that was just phenomenal, because it's like, okay, like they trust him. Okay, that's great confidence. And then Rob calls me on the phone. He's gonna be like, yeah, well, KD still gave him over 35. I said, why'd you have to say that? You know what I mean? Like, but it's true. It is true. And Clay used to be that guy locking down
Mhm.
LeBron in the finals. And that's not an overstatement. That is a fact. Like, my guy was out there putting in work against one of the greatest to do it, locking up Kyrie, locking up LeBron. And now you kind of just can't trust him on either end of the floor. And I think that's something they're definitely going to experiment with. Clay was very open last night talking about, if this is the last dance, I am going to soak in this season. He said, I was there when we were nobody. I was there when we were in it, and I'm here now. He's like, I just want to enjoy this season, see where it takes us. I know he's kind of spoken vocally about always wanting to play for the Lakers because his pops played for the Lakers. And I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
What that trade might look like, I don't know. But it's going to be interesting, though, Rob. It's still my guy at the end of the day. It's always going to be my guy.
That's my guy too. I mean, like I tell people got to understand, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, just a year ago you was cheering for this guy, and now you're criticizing this guy." You have to understand in these leagues, it's a what have you done for me lately league. It's
Mm-hmm.
not for me to be mean. It's not for me to try to tarnish a guy's name. As I mentioned at the start of this show, people come to me for the truth. You come to me because you understand I have no heart in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Golden State Warrior fan. I've joked with people and said that the Warriors are going to win the championship. Right now, if you don't think Denver is the favorite to go for a repeat, you're not watching the game. You're watching it with your heart. You're not watching it with your eyes. I watch things with my eyes. What do your eyes tell?
Mm-hmm. 100%.
That's
100%.
all. That's all.
Now, I will say this though, something that my eyes are telling me right now, that not everything is always going to be greener on the other side. That's
Yeah.
just a fact. And you could say what you want, the inflated stats. It's going to be an easy season for him, but it's not looking good right now. Derrick Rose is going off against Jordan Poole in about 22 minutes as we're recording this right
I
now. It's
hope.
about
I hope. I
5:30.
hope he. I hope he cook him.
And here's the thing, though,
I
Rob.
hope Rose cook
We're
Poole.
talking about game one, man. 18 points, 7
Yeah.
for 18 from the field,
Yeah.
0 for 6 from 3 with a
Mm.
steal, a block, 5 assists, and 2 rebounds for Jordan Poole in his first game alongside Kyle Kuzma. Kind of take me through, what are your expectations for Jordan Poole? Because there were a lot of conversation about, hey man, he could be a potential all-star in the Eastern Conference this year just because of the stats alone. Obviously, it's not going to equate to wins, but he obviously can be the number one option there. I don't see anybody else really taking that over Denny Avdija. You got
Yeah.
our guy, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Daniel Gafford, still over there.
Oh, Gaffy.
Come on, but and actually, who has had a pretty decent career in Washington? I can't even lie. But man, like, what are you looking at for Jordan Poole this year? Do you think that it's going to be a continuation of just inconsistency, or do you think he's going to find success?
What I've always said about Jordan Poole, he's a guy who started to smell himself a little bit too much. Um, I think the the fact that him coming in and stepping in for Steph and the team kind of staying afloat and him kind of making a name for himself, he started to think this is all me instead of thinking this is what we're doing.
Mhm.
And clearly you can see, the Golden State they won the ring. He definitely started smelling himself after he got some hardware, and Draymond kind of brought him back to his senses. And we all knew that that was going to be trouble in paradise, and that sooner or later one of those guys was going to get out of there. I don't know why people kept thinking that the Golden State Warriors are going to choose Poole over Draymond. I'm glad that the front office had sense enough to know you're better off with Draymond, even in the long run, because Jordan Poole, one of those guys, is going to go to Washington. He's going to have the ultimate green light. They telling him shoot, go for it. We don't care what you shoot. Right now he's a sideshow. They know that there's a possibility that he could go for 40 tonight, and that'll get a little bit more ticket sales. But that's all it's gonna be. It's just gonna be a sideshow. Nobody's taking the Wizards serious. Uh, Kuzma was kind of in a similar situation after he got some hardware with the Lakers in the bubble. Started smelling himself, and this is why he ended up on the Wizards. Unfortunately, the Wizards is your punishment. That's where
Mhm.
they send people when you act up. You not I banish you to Washington. It's just bad. So
Chris
I
Paul is the
don't.
only one that got out scot free.
Hey, I don't see any Russell Westbrook.
Man, come on.
Hey, I'm not. Hey, look, I think the Wizards are gonna be a 12th or 13th seed at best.
Yep,
I
I
don't I
can
don't
agree.
I don't see, even with the way that the East is looking right now, you still got to worry about Trey and the Hawks. You still got to worry about Philly, even with or without James Harden. However, there are rumors that they looking to get rid of Embiid. I guess to do him a favor.
I've heard I've heard we can hash on that a little later if you
We
want.
can, we
Yeah,
can,
we
but
definitely will.
you have to now look at Charlotte as a young up and coming team if they can stay healthy.
Mm.
I mean, even though I know I say everything I want to about the Bulls, but I don't see the Wizards being better than the Bulls. And to be honest, a lot of people they've been asleep. This team hasn't been talked about. You're gonna have to watch out for the Orlando Magic. I think them getting Paulo Banchero, that has been huge for them. That
100%.
has
And
been
Franz
huge for
Wagner
them.
is an absolute beast.
Yes, you know what I mean, and they got some nice shooters off that bench. You got what's his name, Anthony Cole.
Hmm.
So they got some decent guys over there. So I just think
I
right
will
now
say
the East.
Cole Anthony is
Oh,
basura. He
Cole
is
Anthony. Yeah.
basura though. He's basura.
No, 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 I won't go that far. I
Suggs
won't
and
go that
him,
far.
I'm not with it. I'm not on that train yet. After the dunk contest with the Tims, the failed dunk, I just
You
haven't
know,
recovered.
you know what? I think it's because I was a fan of Greg Anthony, so I'm holding out for
I
Cole Anthony.
understand. I understand. But man, like who's a good one? Scottie Pippen Jr.'s son. Man, love Scotty.
Nah, but he is Basura though. That's
Basura.
different.
You know what I mean? Like
That's different.
they got the future music playing right now. No, but that's crazy. But no, I think, man, when you really look at it at the end of the day, I think there's so many different conversations we can have about what Warriors basketball is going to look like even 2-3 years from now.
Yeah,
But I don't think they care. I don't think they care. Genuinely. I think they're like, this is what it is. Like, this is the squad. We are fine with a rebuild. We are fine with whatever. If you can have over 10 years of a consistent dynasty, take that 10 times out of 10 every single
yeah,
day, just for a
yeah.
couple of years of a rebuild. And really, with guys like Kaminga and Moody and Looney, how much of a rebuild really is it? You know what I mean? Because you got some nice people, and you still got Wiggins, who's a lot younger than Curry and them boys. But
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. But our last topic, second to last topic, is we're going to go through one really quickly. Obviously, Porzingis is a part of the Celtics deal as well.
Mm.
Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose will be mentoring a young Ja Morant. Derrick said, I'm no babysitter. He's out here hooping last night. Saw him with an amazing steal off Jokic with the jelly. I mean, it was just, Rob and I were talking about it on the phone earlier. It was just a sight to see. I
It
saw
was.
Derrick dancing in the huddle. He's doing moves I haven't seen him do since 2006.
Watch
I
that
mean,
hip, B-roll. Watch that hip.
hey, he's moving, brother. He's doing it, man, and I love it. But man, really getting into the final big deal. It was a two-parter because obviously DeAndre Ayton gets switched in the three-team deal. Obviously Nurkic is in the building now in Phoenix with the
Hmm.
big name and the one that a lot of people don't know how it's going to work out, and you and I can't even say how it's going to work out because we still haven't seen it yet.
Mm.
Bradley Beal, who has
Hmm.
already missed a game. Devin Booker has
Hmm.
now missed a game. Kevin
Hmm.
Durant's out here. We used to give Kevin Durant the biggest flock for missing games. Is the only one that's been out there every night.
And hooping. I got to
Yeah,
give him
and
that. He's been
hooping.
hooping.
And I will say
I'm
this:
not the biggest KD fan, but
as
hey,
much as I hate him,
I'm telling the
Grayson
truth.
Allen's been doing his thing too. I can't even lie. But
Oh, GA.
man, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Caruso! I'm rocking with AC. I'm rocking with AC, Rob. Come on, fuck that. Fuck that guy. But nah, bro. Just talking about that. Beal, Booker, KD, Nurkic.
Mm.
What do you really think at the end of the day?
You know what? I was a little worried about it because what's happening now is what I was worried about.
Mm,
All of these guys are great players. Nurkic, when he's healthy, could be a very suitable center in the league. And we know what Bradley Beal can do. When healthy, Bradley Beal is one of the top scorers in this league. Remember, at one point in time, he was going back and forth with Steph for 1 year to try to win the scoring title. And this is a Bradley Beal that had the ultimate green light with the Washington Wizards. So you have to look at it and say, okay, you add this type of scoring to a Devin Booker, to a Kevin Durant, this team could be deadly. Then we
Mhm.
start to worry about the bench, and they pretty much get the bench taken care of, bringing in the Grayson Allen and some other guys that they got over there who starting Okogie. Guys that are making names for themselves right now. And I have to admit, Phoenix, when healthy, is going to be one of the scariest squads out there. As I mentioned on my show, Rob's Two Cents, I think Devin Booker is going to be a stud in this league. I had to apologize to him. I remember at one point in time, I was saying I don't see him as a superstar, right as of at that moment. But now the guy has shown me some things. Devin Booker want all the smoke, and I
Mhm.
said that he had a conversation with Bradley Beal, and he had a conversation with Kevin Durant. He said, first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming in today. I want to thank you guys for your services for this team, but I want y'all to get one thing straight. This is my team. And Devin Booker, when on the court, has performed like that. Remember, in game one, no Bradley Beal, just KD and D Book out there. What did D Book do? Man, he put 38 on the Warriors. It's nothing that you can do about that. You know what I mean? This guy has a Mamba mentality. And, it's too early still for me to say this, but I'm going to jump out on a limb and say this is Devin Booker reminds you so much of Kobe that you feel like this is the second coming of Kobe. And I must say, and this is mentality, dude. Devin Booker wants all the smoke. Devin Booker puts in the work. You can tell right now just with that three ball he's been shooting. Devin Booker wasn't shooting the three ball like this last year.
Mhm.
I can tell when the guy's been in the gym and working on his craft. This dude gets to where he wants on the court, any spot he wants to on the court. I mean, hell, he even got the post game now. He's out there putting guys out in the fadeaway. I'm telling you, Phoenix they have the potential to be very scary in the Western Conference. Like most other people, the best ability is availability. You
Right.
heard coaches say this. You heard other analysts say this. Shout out to my boy Cam and Mace on the Is What It Is podcast. We hear guys say this, and I have to agree. The best ability is availability. Will these guys be available to see it work? And unfortunately for KD, he shouldn't have never left Golden State. He has yet to be on the super team, quote unquote, where health wasn't an issue. Health wasn't an issue until he got hurt with the Golden State Warriors. You get what I'm saying? Everywhere else, that's the karma that's coming back on that guy. You know what I'm saying? You should have stayed where you was at. Because now
Yep.
you're trying so hard to prove that you can win a ring without Steph and the Warriors that it hasn't worked out for you. So we'll see. And if Chris Paul is able to get a ring, not due to KD joining the Suns, but due to him joining Steph over there in Golden State. Oh boy, would that be a story to tell?
I mean, Steph would be doing something that,
Oh, Chef would be in the Hall of Fame
yeah.
now.
I
I
mean,
mean, he's already in the Hall
yeah.
of
I
Fame, but
mean, you're getting legends their
yes,
first rings, and
yeah,
that's something we've only ever really seen LeBron do. To
yeah,
be completely, I mean, even Kobe failed to do that with obviously Gary and company. When they
yeah.
teamed up a little early in the 2000s, and that was something that to this day, I still
To
look
this
at
day.
to this day. And I'm like, that was a squad right there. But it's just, guys were older. I do want to give a point to Devin Booker though. It's inappropriate, but we got to talk about it because it's trending. It's all over
Yeah,
social media right now. A
yeah,
fan sitting front row. This is that Mamba mentality,
yeah.
man. Part of my language, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry, but I'm just telling you what the facts are. All right, listen.
Uh-huh.
Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Argue with your mama. Don't tell me. Don't come with me. I'm watching this on TikTok. I'm scrolling through. I see a guy. He shows up, man. He said, I'm going to mess with D Book tonight. He wore
Yeah,
a t shirt that said Team Kendall Jenner.
I
And it
know.
had all of the players that
Let's
she
see
has
them.
dated. And D Book is in the middle of it. He goes, D Book. D Book's coming up with the ball. He goes, what up, pussy? And then he comes in. Hezzy. Shoots it. Scores. Looks back at the dude. Whoa. Not
Reminds you.
only,
It reminds you. Remember when Kobe was on the bench arguing with that fan? He said, "Hey,
whoa.
but remember, I got."
It was quick. He said, what up? Went back to his business. Now, did he have to say what he had to say? Hey man, he had a little, it's still fresh. Some wounds don't heal, and especially when it comes to the heart. So, it is what it is, man. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. Normally, I don't like the banter with the fans
Yeah,
like that. Normally, I really don't like how the fans talk to certain people. Salt Lake City, Russell Westbrook, that whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Forget that, man. That's not.
New
But
York throwing water bottles at people.
yeah,
You gotta, you
but
gotta have a.
this was awesome, Rob. This was pretty sick. He just let him. He let him know. He let him know, man. But it was a beautiful opening night. We had 2 games on opening night. We had the
Mhm.
defending champs. Nikola Jokic is off the horse tracks, ladies and gentlemen. He's back in America and he's back in the NBA, and I'm sure he hates it because he
The
only
Joker,
sees it.
baby.
That man only sees it as a 9 to 5. That man
Yeah,
does not
hey,
care about the NBA whatsoever. He said he was watching Pokemon for like 6 hours in his hotel. He ain't got no business being here, bro. But hey, I rock with Pokemon too. Can't even. I'll be rocking with
but you
Charmander.
know what's funny though? He was watching Pokemon come in and then give him the triple dub,
Oh,
like it was nothing.
like a monster.
The thing with Joker to me, and man, I can't stop gushing over this dude. Pause, y'all. It's just that I respect it because he has to be the most unathletic center I've ever seen in my life.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
No. Second,
Who's more unathletic than Joker? What,
Cristiano
Brad Miller?
Felicio.
I don't even know about that because
I know about that. I know
even
about that.
even Feliciano will do some things. I'm like, I didn't know he was that athletic. You
Nah,
know
I'm
what I
playing.
mean?
I'm playing.
Like you see Joker, and it's like this dude doesn't run fast. He doesn't
Nope.
jump high.
Nope.
He's not. He's just a strong big dude. But the way it's not even how he bullies people down low. It's the way he controls the game with doing minimum things. He stands at the top of the key. He lets Murray get open. Somehow he has the slowest first step, but he still beats these big dudes to the rim. I don't know what's going on. The way that he can shoot the jumper, he can shoot the fadeaway, he can bang down low, he can take you on the perimeter, he can dribble the fast break. This guy, this is why I didn't agree with ESPN top 10. Because we're talking about Giannis being number one. No, no. And I got love for the Greek freak. But if you tell me an NBA list right now, and you're telling me who's the top players in the NBA, if I don't hear Joker's name come out of your mouth first, I am no longer listening to your damn list.
See, I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna disagree with you.
Who's that? Who better than he?
I take Giannis.
Over Joker?
I take Giannis 10 times out of
Over the
10.
Joker?
Yes, sir, I do.
Over the Joker?
And I'll tell you why.
Come on, man. Talk to me, Mike.
Listen, something that bothers me, man, is the type of
I'm not listening. No,
you're
I'm
not
just playing.
listening. You're not listening. Hey, man, don't ask me to talk and then don't listen. Now that's about the worst. Nah, I'm playing. But something that bothers me, bro, is listen. I was talking to this kid last night, Liam. He works with me. Great kid, great guy. Love Liam. If he's watching this, that's my dog. But we talking. He never watched basketball before. He's like,
Yeah.
explain to me the levels of guys who play. He's asking me about Curry. He's asking me about all these guys, and I'm like, well, man, there's guys like Clay. There's guys like Jimmy. There's guys like Tatum, Carmelo. They're great for the game,
Yeah.
but they don't change the game.
Yeah.
Now, what I see from a guy like Jokic, I think we're going to start to see a lot more centers like him in the future because kids are going to start practicing that. Hey, I'm trying to be like Jokic. I'm trying to facilitate. I'm trying to be a big man that moves. We haven't seen that since Magic Johnson in the finals in his first year. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of conversation we're having right now. And I think, and that was just for a game, by the way, when Kareem went down. So imagine doing it full time and actually being statistically amazing at it. I mean, he's coming with Russell Westbrook in the most triple doubles of all time, and he is a fucking center. I mean, that is crazy. But and then guys like Steph, guys like Steph who change the game completely, and really just turn it into something so much more than just metrics and analytics. Like you can't use numbers to see Steph Curry shoot a 40-foot rocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's just a pocket rocket he's got in his backhand and he's able to shoot it from wherever. I mean, that man just doing his thing. You know what I mean? In there, like swimwear, baby, every single night. And I think one of the big things for me, though, Rob, as many flowers as I'm giving to him right now,
Yeah.
I still look at a defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
I still look at one of the most unstoppable players who we've said offensively, the biggest unstoppable force since Shaq is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And that's just really what it is. I mean, the man is running through people at ease. And sometimes he does that little Euro step, and I go a little crazy on Instagram. I retweet that like 5 times on Twitter. Like, I can't stop. But my point of all of it, man, is really understanding that the two-way playing of a Giannis to me, is 10 times better than Jokic, who, to with all due respect, and let me know if you disagree, is somewhat of a liability defensively. I have seen him get
No,
by.
I won't say a liability. I would say he's not the best defender in the world, but you can't teach size and you can't teach height.
Right.
And we'll see Jokic get about a block or two a night just due to the fact he's a 7 footer,
Right.
and he can play smart. He understands the fact all I need to do is put a hand up. I don't have to try to be Wimbyama. I don't have to try to go out here and get 7 blocks on the night like a young Chet Holmgren. I can get off because now what happens is you got to see me on the offensive side of the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where it can cause a problem.
Right.
And it's not just his scoring that makes him so deadly.
It's
It's
facilitating.
it's his facilitating and his rebounding.
Yep.
He's gonna get you at least 4 or 5 extra possessions every game.
Right. But here's
Every
my
game.
thing, right? So you start to see this conversation about what Giannis has been able to do, right? And I think when I look at it and I look what they all bring to the table, Rob Scott, to you right now, if you just took their names out of it and you saw
hmm
one who is a multiple time MVP,
hmm
another one who's an MVP, they're both champions. One has the defensive player of the year attached to it. Who are you
Mm.
taking to start your franchise?
I'm taking Jokic.
See, that's why I love you, man, because we can disagree on everything, and it's still it's to me, man. I think you have to take Giannis. I think you have to. I think the athleticism, the size, the way he is able to cradle the ball, the facilitating that he also provides, because Giannis doesn't get talked about enough on the plays that he makes. I mean,
Yeah,
there is the one, I saw that one going around for a while. The time he swung it out and he just nailed Harden in the face. I don't think any of us will ever forget that video. But Harden was just ate it. He was just like, whoa. But you have that conversation about what he's able to do on a night to night basis alongside Dame this year. I think we're going to be able to see a much more free Giannis. I've never seen Giannis with another legitimate scorer next to him. So I
yeah.
think this is where you're going to be able to see Giannis play more free because
But
you can't clog the
okay,
paint.
yeah. I will say this though, and this is a controversial take.
Talk to me.
Giannis, in order for Milwaukee to get to that next level of getting back to winning a championship, Giannis is gonna have to add something to his game. And
100%.
that's the reason why I can't put him over the Joker.
100%.
Giannis has been the same guy since we've known him. He just
Right.
got bigger and more muscle. So now he was able to actually run over people. Sometimes he gets a little bit ahead of himself and he takes those threes and he hits those jumpers. And I'm like, why can't I see this Giannis all the time? Because a Giannis scoring threes is a deadly Giannis. He's a deadly Giannis. There's nothing you
Mhm.
can do to stop him. But as of right now, I'm telling you, if Dame had went to the Nuggets, that's an automatic ring.
Mhm.
You can't say that's an automatic ring with Milwaukee, and
Mm.
that's the thing, and that's because of the way Joker plays the game the right way. He's not gonna cheat you. I told McLovin, one of our partners, shout out to our unscripted partners, man. I told McLovin I had to give him a public apology because I gave him hell about Joker. I'm like, I don't see it. Embiid is the no. He was right. I was wrong. Joker is the best player. And the more I watch this dude, the more I'm intrigued about how much he doesn't do that doesn't impact what he does do.
Right.
That's is he plays the game in such a simple way.
Right. Can I ask you this though?
It's
Because
effective.
it's something that I've wondered about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
No disrespect, because as a scorer, I
Yeah.
think Jamal Murray is great, but as a facilitator, I don't think he's there yet. And I'm wondering, what does Jokic's role look like with a legitimate point guard next to him? I'm talking like a Chris Paul. You looking at obviously guys you just named, Damian Lillard, who are really able to facilitate the ball. Guys like True Holiday. List goes on. Even a Jimmy Butler, even who maybe not be a point guard, but he's also very driven as well. We
hmm
haven't really seen Jimmy with a
Mm.
legitimate point guard because Jimmy loves to also facilitate the ball. So I'm curious to see what his game would look like if you had a legitimate point guard next to him. Is that just a point guard running around looking to spot up and shoot, or is that Jokic taking the step back and saying, I'm
No,
just going to go back to being a center?
I think you kind of see more. I think you actually kind of see Jokic become more of a scorer.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the pick and roll game with him and Jamal Murray. What makes it
Yeah.
deadly is because out of those guys, you don't know who's going to score. And I think most point guards can score in the 17-foot range. Now you're playing pick and roll. Let's say you take a De'Aaron Fox, you take a Chris Paul, you take a who's one of the more traditional. Because to be honest, the traditional point guard in the league is becoming non-existent. All these
Mm-hmm.
point guards are coming out of college ready to score. They've been scoring their whole life. So the days of the one guard and two guard is over with. You're gonna have a 1-2, whether it's at the one or the two. So, but I think if you get like if you have like if Chris Paul in his prime played with Joker, that's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I
They
mean,
gonna
it'd be
put in
nuts.
crazy work, and that's because that pick and roll is gonna be so deadly, and because Joker has one of the things few big men does have. We know Embiid has it, but it's not that many big men that can go out and stretch the floor and stand at the 3-point line and still be a threat.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, and I'm talking about a legit threat. It's a difference between being able to know how to shoot the three to shooting the three.
Yup.
Listen, there's a
100%.
lot of people know how to shoot. Everybody, I know how to shoot. Am I Steph Curry? No. You know what I'm saying? Steph Curry is a shooter. Knowing how to shoot and being a shooter is two totally different things. And
Yup.
we seen Joker hit some tough ass shots. I've
For sure.
seen Joker make some amazing threes. I've seen the way he controls the game, just standing there at the top of the key and letting the plays form up. That dude is deadly, man. And it's this. He's a true, and it's crazy. The thing I tell people about Joker is be happy he doesn't take the game that serious.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he took the game really seriously, like if he was like, man, I eat, live, and breathe basket, holy shit.
Man, it would be a totally, and it's hilarious actually that he doesn't, because I think he does, but like I said earlier, I think it's a 9 to 5,
It's a
man. There is.
job to him.
It
It's a
it really
job.
is. It really is.
Yeah,
And when you're making that money, it's forget about it, bro. Like it's
yeah.
cool. Like Jokic knows this is my skill set. I am not going to get more athletic. I am not going to get taller. I am not going to get stronger. This is
I'm
my
not gonna
build.
get faster.
Kind of like Luca. Luca and him are kind of in the very similar boat. I think Luca has a little bit more to bring.
Luca,
When it
Luca, Luca has a deceptive
right.
athleticism.
And he has a little bit more of, I think, of a body frame to be able
Yeah,
to build things onto his game. But Jokic is
yeah.
like, yo, this is what I got. I got every trick in the book. There's really not much else for me to bring here. I guess defensively he could get better, but why? When you're averaging a triple double, he just keep doing what you're doing. But let's talk about opening night, man.
Yeah,
Talking
let's talk
about
about it.
what Jokic was able to do on opening night against LeBron James and
LeBron
Rob.
James.
Rob,
LeBron
LeBron
James.
James, you a fool. LeBron James on minute restrictions. We're finally talking about it. I mean, it hurts. It hurts to say it, but we're getting to that point of his career. Year 21, is it? If I'm not mistaken. I
Year
mean,
21.
it's crazy, man. He's
The man
literally.
is about to be 39 in December.
It's absolutely insane. But Jokic got it done 29, 11, and 13 in 36 minutes. LeBron
Easy
James.
work.
LeBron James only played 29 minutes in this game. 21, 5, and 8. Prince went crazy. I ain't even gonna lie. Prince had 18, 1, and 3. That was cool to see.
Oh
Anthony
no,
Davis.
mention the score that we want to hear.
Man, who you want to hear?
Mention it. Mention you was just about to say it.
Anthony Davis,
Basura.
17, 4, and 8.
Basura. No, let's talk about it. When did he have them 17 points, Mike?
Listen, man, it was way
All in
after
the
it
first
mattered.
half.
It was way after it mattered, man. There was nothing. There
He
was
didn't
nothing
score
going on.
nothing in the second half, bro.
No, I mean,
17 points in the first half, 0 points in the second half. I mean, I had Anthony Davis. I couldn't wait for the NBA to start. I had made my bets on my fan duel. I was ready. I was ready to win some money, and I was thinking about it. I pondered to myself. I said, myself said, and I said, is Anthony Davis going over 20 tonight? And myself said, nah. Put him for 17. Put him for 17 and a half points. And I said, you know what, Self, you might be right because he's playing the Joker. And for some reason, when he played the Joker always wins that battle. So I said, I'm going to put him for 17 and a half points. Oh, you should have saw me watching the first half of the game. I'm excited. I said, okay, the Lakers looking good. Nuggets doing exactly what I thought they was going to do. Man, AD out there going to work at the end of the second quarter, going into halftime. I said, oh, that boy got 17. I got this in the bag. Lo and behold, I had him for 17 and a half points. The man didn't score nothing else in the second half. I almost threw my damn remote through the TV. I said, you can't be this trash. You, just my thing with Anthony Davis, okay? LeBron has said publicly, and I'm pretty sure he said privately, Anthony Davis, I am going into year 21. I led us in the bubble. This is your time to lead us. We came to New Orleans to get you because we know the potential that you have and that you can be Batman. I no longer want to be Batman. I would love to be your Robin. I would love to be your sidekick in this. And Anthony Davis, I don't know what it is. He picks and chooses when he wants to play. It's a horrible motor. He's a guy that not only cheats himself, but he cheats the game, and I don't like him.
No, man, 100%. You know, we've been vocal about that a lot. A Chi-Town kid, weirdo though, because he's a Packers fan.
And did you see his locker room video?
Very.
Oh, he was out of pocket. You know, we'll stay away from that, but he was out of pocket for that. You don't let nobody, you don't let nobody, let alone man or woman, play in your area. Okay? There's one thing for a guy that happens out the ass, and that's taking the shit. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, man. This dude is soft, and it's not just that video, man. When it comes to other big time players, he's soft.
No, 100%.
Soft.
What got me was I want to play forward. You are on the Showtime Lakers, and you have the potential to be a center. We're talking Kareem. We're talking Shaq. Guys who have been in that room. It's kind of like,
even Paul Gasol has played center.
man, come on. But let's take it how we could compare this to guys who may be watching this and maybe they're not big on basketball. Imagine being a linebacker, being brought into the Chicago Bears organization. Dick Butkus, Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Richard Dent, all these dogs. And then you say you have the honor, first and foremost, to be one of them and be next to the names of those dogs. And then you're just gonna say, I want to play on the edge.
I want to play safety.
I want to play. I was a safety. God
I don't
damn
want
it!
to be a linebacker.
I don't want
No,
to be
what
a
I'm saying
linebacker.
is, no,
No,
nothing
I
wrong
hear
with
you, but
being a
that's
safety.
what
What I'm
it's like,
saying is,
bro. You're too
you
damn
supposed to
big,
be in the trenches, and
right?
you up here trying to get out the trenches. I
Too
don't
damn
like that.
talented. Too damn talented, and they lose this game. A big part of that because of that. LeBron is on minute restricted minutes. That's just what it is. They lose 119 to 107, and that's just what it is. I am a firm believer. If Anthony Davis shows up in that second half, I mean, you might have a different outcome to this game.
Because what happens when they play Phoenix without Bradley Beal and without
Yep.
Devin Booker? Oh, now Anthony Davis decides he wants to play.
Yep. And
That's
that's
what I'm saying. When the lights get the brightest,
yep.
when the pressure is on and it's cooking, I need to see a superstar be a superstar. That's the difference. Everybody always asks, what is the difference between a good player, a great player, an all-star, a superstar? See, an all-star steps up sometimes. See, that's what Anthony Davis is. He's a sometimes mofo. But when we're talking about a superstar wants the smoke. They want it. Look what Luca did last night. We're talking about a guy who is playing with Kyrie Irving, and he has Tim Hardaway on his team, and he got all these other guys on his team, and he let everybody get off. Go ahead, get yours. Get yours. Don't worry, I'll get mine when I need to. Fourth quarter time, that's what you do. Everybody always want to complain. Oh, maybe he's not getting the ball enough. Maybe the coaches need to draw up a scheme. Let me tell you something. When Shaq called for the ball, he got the ball.
Yep.
When Luka calls for the ball, he gets the ball. When Steph says, hey, he gets the ball. That's what a superstar does. They're not running from the fourth quarter. They're running to it. When LeBron give me there's no way in hell that LeBron should still be the best player on the Los Angeles Lakers right now.
100%.
No way in hell.
100%. And, I think there's so many different levels to it, man. And I think one of the biggest issues for them is going to continue to be the timestamp. I mean, how much longer does LeBron have? And that's something that you're going to have to address because when the king is gone, and the
It's gonna be
smoke
a sad day.
clears
It's gonna be a
and
sad day.
the jerseys are hung in the rafters and the Hall of Fame speeches and oh God wait for the videos that ESPN is going to be pumping out when the king
Mm,
retires because it's going to
mm.
go on for days, ladies and gentlemen. But
Hey, he
talking about
won.
that though, and saying when the dust settles, what do you have? Austin Reeves, and how respectfully to AR-15 because he was hooping in FIBA, he's hooping last year, he's
Mm-hmm.
hooping again. But what is he going to be when he is viewed as the number 2 option and
Mm-hmm.
AD becomes the number 1 option? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's when you're going to start to see a team that doesn't have an identity, that you really don't know what you're doing. I mean, I could tell you right now, casual NBA fans couldn't tell you the head coach right now of the Los Angeles Lakers. And I don't remember a time when that was a thing. That's just me being real. I have a lot
I
of
just
questions.
had to. I just had to think about it for a
Who's the head coach, Rob?
It's Darvin Ham.
Oh,
I had to think about it for a second.
but
I was like, wait, wait.
even when it was Luke Walton, even when it was other guys as well, like
When
you
it was
have
what was his name? The coach from Indiana. He used to coach at Indiana.
um man,
I can't think of his name right
exactly
now.
though. Exactly though. You know what I mean? Like no disrespect, but like they haven't had that prestigious coach in
Oh, I
quite
need to
some
look.
time. I mean, they've even had Pat Riley as a coach, man. Come on. They've even had Phil
The great
Jackson
Phil
as a coach.
Jackson.
I mean, we got names for days, and I just feel like look at Rob looking it up.
I am because it's gonna get on my nerves if I
It's gonna bother
Frank Vogel. I couldn't think
Frank
of that to
Vogel.
save
Frank
my
Vogel.
life.
I'm so sorry, Frank, but I don't know what Frank's up to. But nah, man, like there's so many questions, and one I'm gonna throw out there is imagine a trade. Send Klay Thompson to where his daddy played. Send him to LA. LeBron teams up with CP3 and Curry. I mean, there's worlds where this can happen. There's worlds where these things can all work out for
Yeah,
everyone.
I'm just gonna tell you right now. You got to send Clay, Kaminga, and Andrew Wiggins.
Send them.
I'm
Send them.
not giving up
Send it.
nobody for LeBron,
Send
and
it.
I need a couple draft picks too.
Send it.
I'm
Send it.
just
Because look, at the end of the day, send it. Because here's what you got, right? All right. Just to listen, everybody's gonna turn off this podcast listening to us right now. But hypothetically, say the money works, right? And you get to a point where Clay and LeBron basically are damn near the same salary. You throw in guys like Kaminga and Moody, that's fine. I will have CP3. Take a walk with me, Rob. You ready for this?
I'm walking. I don't know where we
CP3,
walking.
Stephen Curry, LeBron James, Draymond Green, buddies, besties, and Kevon Looney.
I would not let you do Steph Curry like that.
Why?
That's too old.
I
Team's
don't give
too
a fuck.
old. Look, let me tell you
I
something
do
about
not care how old that
LeBron.
team is.
LeBron is already on the minute restrictions. I believe he can't go over 29 minutes a game as
That's
of
his
right now.
choice.
At least till the play. But it serves them right. He's
Right.
trying to save himself because I think now he's trying to wait to play with both his sons.
Yeah.
I don't think he's just waiting on Brian.
Well,
He's
because
waiting on Bryce too.
listen, no
And
disrespect,
and and,
but
and
I
to
know
be
which one's
honest, I
better.
think Bryce
Yeah. I know which one's better.
Bryce gonna be one of them.
And it's no disrespect to Bronny
I
either.
love
Bronny
Bronny.
Bronny is going through a lot right now.
Yeah.
That I think is so much bigger than basketball with the heart issue and what happened with that. It seems like he's fine. I saw him the other night doing something really dope. I think it was their homecoming or something.
Oh,
Uh,
when he was getting introduced, when he had the
yeah, and
jersey
it,
on,
it,
got
it
that
was
doing the Dougie.
it was
You
a
know,
yeah,
I can't.
he
I
was
don't
he
want to
was out
embarrass
there,
myself.
boy. He was out there.
My Dougie is
My
horrible.
Dougie is
Look. Hey,
crazy.
let me tell y'all right now. Not every black person can dance. Okay, now I ain't gonna lie. I got my two step. But
Yeah.
if y'all get to talk about some my Dougie,
Hey
my friend,
yo,
no,
hey
that
listen,
I
listen,
don't, that ain't my thing.
listen. Man, I can't dance for a lick, but you get Mike a couple shots of JD, hey, it's a different animal there. You see me do
Everybody love a little JD.
my little two step. I mean, do the John Wall. What you talking about? But man, I just think and anyways, getting off that trade because it's not happening. But there's hypotheticals out there that he might not end his career as a Los Angeles Laker.
No, LeBron. I think LeBron is gonna do whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron gets to a point where he might just sit out until his sons come back. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And
I mean, he
I
can.
mean he's earned that right. And what person is not? I mean, think about it. Because if his sons are high in the draft, I mean they're going to a team that's terrible. So what terrible team is not going to pick up LeBron as a sideshow attraction. Regardless of what age LeBron is at that point in time and what his level of play is, people are gonna pay tickets just to say I was there
Yo.
when LeBron stepped on the court with his son.
So I got
So
something for you.
yeah,
Check me out.
yeah,
Doing a little something, doing a little mathematics in my head.
yeah.
Greg Popovich, Victor Wembanyama sit in the room in the offseason and say, listen, if we draft this kid, LeBron James will be entering San Antonio. He's just going down the street. He's not going too far. Rob Scott, Victor, Bryce, Bronny, LeBron, and Pop. Is that a conversation?
That's a fantasy.
Mm. But is it a realistic fantasy?
It ain't happening.
But I
He ain't gonna
mean,
play with both his sons together unless you have a situation in
how
which
old is Bronny right now? He's 16, 17?
Bronny is about to be in college.
Right, he's
He's
17,
like
right?
17, 18.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think there's a realistic shot that you can get both of them.
No, because Bryce is just in his sophomore year, ain't he?
You just said he's going to college.
Oh, Bronny's going to college.
Yeah, Bronny's going to college, and then
Bryce is like in his.
I think he's 16.
Let me see.
Bryce Young.
Bronny is 19, bro.
Right. Bronny's 19, so Bronny can get drafted this year.
Yeah, well, I think they want you to play 1 year of college for first.
Man, cry about it. It's Bronny.
Yeah, and Bronny is 16. So I mean, Bryce is 16. So yeah.
Interesting. But we getting off topic. Rob and I will spend the next 2-3 years talking about this, but we will get these two on the same team, and it will be the best trio you've ever seen. But getting into that second game, Kevin Durant without Bradley Beal. Devin Booker did play in this game. It's the notorious game he decided to call somebody something crazy. 32, 8, and 6 in 37 minutes from Devin Booker. Kevin Durant had 18, 3, and 10, but it was a very critical 18, 3, and 10 in 37 minutes. Klay Thompson was guarding Kevin Durant the majority of this game. So I do have to say that. I do. Rob Scott. I saw Rob's 2 cents the other night. I will say Klay Thompson was guarding KD the whole game, held him to 18. I gotta give my man's his flowers. I
Did he
gotta give it.
did he really hold him to 18?
So you shut your mouth. Draymond wasn't there.
That's all I'm saying.
He was going, man. He was going. But no, they win in this game anyways. The Phoenix Suns.
And and honestly, it was when he didn't hold KD to 18. KD scored 32 against the Golden State Warriors.
When?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
When?
On the 24th when they played.
Sir, right here, I'm looking at the box score. It says
You probably looking at the score from
October 24th.
Oh no, he did. Who he scored though? This is the game they won yesterday, or they lost. Who did they
Yeah.
play?
They
Was it
were
the Lakers?
I believe it was the Lakers. If I'm
Yeah,
it was the Lakers.
Yeah. He gave the Lakers 38, yeah.
Saw how high Bron jumped on that one. He jumping over the heads of people, man. He was going crazy.
And I think KD just missed shots, dude. I'm looking at it now. He was 7 to 22.
Mm-hmm. You just don't want to give my man's his flowers. It's okay.
He missed shots.
Okay.
Nah, because I don't think Clay stopped that.
All right, whatever.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Saying.
How about that?
You know what? And I will.
How about them apples, Rob? How about them apples, Rob? I'm just saying.
I'll give KD this though. I mean, Clay this though.
Oh.
He played a better game against Sacramento.
He did, and we're gonna get into that game in a little bit.
He played a better game against Sacramento.
But really quick though, how do you feel Curry versus KD matchup again? How great is that?
It's great, and you know what? It was honestly good to see that the Golden State fans finally showed Kevin some love. They kind of letting that hate go out of their heart, and they should. They won a ring without him, so KD hasn't won anything since. So you can't deny what KD did for that Golden State franchise. He didn't elevate them like a lot of people always say, oh, well, he went to a 72-10 team. However, that was a team that didn't win a championship.
Right.
And KD got there, and yeah, he unfairly tipped the scales towards the Golden State favor, but that just shows you how great he was and who he was going to. So I got to tell people, don't forget, let's not act like like KD wasn't a foot or what a toenail away from beating Giannis in Game 7 and taking his team to the Eastern Conference Finals. So
Mhm.
let's not forget the greatness of KD and like
Right.
I mentioned, what he did against the Lakers with no Bill and no Booker.
For
But
sure.
I think as I said earlier in our in this show, that's Bill's. I mean, that's Booker's team. That is D Book's team, 110%.
Right.
I think D Book, when it's fourth quarter time, he's gonna be having the ball in his hand a lot. You're gonna see some days where Bradley Beal go off. You're gonna see some days where KD go off. But I think Devin Booker will be a consistent
For sure.
bucket getter on this roster.
For sure. But here's something that I think is so much bigger than Devin Booker and so much bigger than, I won't say Steph Curry, but maybe I'll say Andrew Wiggins. This is a conversation, man, that we don't get to have a lot. It's
Mm,
a conversation that's been brewing since both of them came into the league. Kevin Durant versus LeBron James face off for the first time in a meaningful basketball game since Christmas of 2018.
mm,
It's crazy. I mean, we're talking about a young KD who lost in the finals with Russell Westbrook and James Harden to the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh and company. I don't remember if that was the one with Ray Allen or not.
no, he wasn't there yet
I
because
don't believe
that
so,
was the
right?
first
That
ring.
was the first one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at that, Rob. The first matchup of two all-time greats since 2018. Now, when LeBron went to the Lakers initially, I said to myself, whoa, whoa, we're about to see LeBron versus Curry in the Western Conference Finals every single year. And we've only seen it once, even playing in the playoffs against each other. And that was as recent as last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rob, talk me through, especially as a Warriors fan yourself, watching these guys go at it as long as you have. Also a Bulls fan. I ain't gonna lie. Rob's also a Bulls fan.
I'm a Chicago fan.
But we have never we don't get to watch anything on the Eastern Conference because it's basura 90% of the time. But it's coming up. The East is coming up. But I will say this, man. The legacy of LeBron versus KD, is that not lived up to the hype? Or where would you rank it, especially after the finals losses LeBron has had after KD obviously teamed up with the Warriors?
You know, I, to me that wasn't the most hype matchup. I
Right,
think after LeBron and them beat them, and I think the hype was when he was still with OKC, when
right.
KD was still with OKC. Now that he went on to the Lakers, nobody expected LeBron to beat that team. That team was truly a cheat code. I mean, we're talking about at that time the best shooting backcourt ever, teaming up with the sniper, a 7 foot shooting guard.
Easy
And
money sniping.
Draymond coming fresh off a defensive player of the year. And remember that year that they lost in the finals, without KD the year prior to, had the Warriors won, there's a big chance Draymond would have been the finals MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, Draymond was still playing good. It just was a cheat code of a team. So, you literally replaced Harrison Barnes with Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Enough said. So,
Yep.
I don't think the hype ever got that big after that. Maybe when LeBron had Kyrie and K Love, you're like, okay, if he can come with his cavalry, But then remember, by that time, I think Kyrie had left and went to Boston. So
Yep.
we knew that wasn't
They
going to happen.
love just the
Yeah.
concussions and the injuries just wrote them. But yeah, hey, listen, you remember that one late night episode of Mike and Rob? We was
Yeah.
talking mad ish
Yeah.
with all the fans who were
Yeah.
hating on my guy K Love. Y'all watch your mouth. Know your role and shut your mouth. You jabroni. Don't talk down on K Love, baby. K
Hey,
Love is my dog. I will always remember Minnesota K Love. Don't forget it.
30 for 30 and 30.
Argue with your mama, not with me. He's a Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen. He's a
I
Hall
think
of
the I
Famer.
think the I think the ring helps his
I
case.
think it has to. It has
Yeah,
to.
the ring helps his
And
case.
hey, how many finals appearances? He's been to a lot.
He's been
He
quite a
was
few
just in
finals.
the one last year with Jimmy Butler.
He's
And
been to
remember,
quite a
me and
few
you
finals.
said he should have went to the Warriors, but look, he worked out for him. Worked out for him.
It
But
it worked. Hey, and I still tell people you can't sleep on this Miami Heat team either.
ah,
Not this year. I just like I said, I know
oh,
Jimmy hasn't. I know Jimmy didn't play up to par. He missed a lot of shots that he was hitting last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I did see some great things from this Miami squad. Bam played very well.
Yep.
Tyler Hero played very well, and it doesn't look like losing Max Strauss or Gabe Vincent has really affected this team in a way that I thought it was going to
Right.
affect.
Well, can
So
you can we? All right, we're gonna kind of transition into that
yeah,
really
let's try.
quick.
Let's talk because
Um,
you know.
I would love to talk Boston and Miami. They go tick for tack with each other. Jimmy just doesn't look great in this game. But, you and I talked about it all off season. Whoever got Caleb Martin, whoever got Gabe Vincent, whoever got
I
Max
forgot they
Strauss,
lost Caleb Martin too. Damn.
come on, come on. But
Yeah,
these are guys who brought into the system who just aren't going to be big names elsewhere. And I
yeah.
think that was one of the you remember that Lakers bubble team. I think that really reminds me a lot of what happened there because those were just a lot of systematic guys who played very well in a system. Now, when Max Strauss goes to Cleveland,
Hmm.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what's Cleveland going to help you be able to do? I mean, they barely. I think they beat OKC last night. I know it was a tight game. I think OKC won actually. I don't even know,
Hey,
but
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I hate to say this about Cleveland. I have dubbed Cleveland the new Utah Jazz of the East.
they are, and
Because
it's because of Don.
remember when Donovan Mitchell played for
Mhm.
for for them. Now I'm looking at them. I'm like, look, Donovan Mitchell is with the Cavaliers. If Donovan Mitchell is your number one, you're not winning anything. He's a great number two. I think Donovan Mitchell will make a hell of a Robin, but you asking him to be Superman,
Yup.
and that's not his role.
Nope.
And I just want to give a shout out. Thank you, Auntie. I appreciate you.
Auntie. I want to know what. Never mind. But Mrs. Scott's gonna get mad at me, so I'm not gonna say nothing. But I got
No,
a question.
this is my auntie, not her auntie. I mean, it's
Oh,
her auntie too, but
well, I
this
need the
that's
nieces in the building. That's what I
yeah,
need.
yeah,
But
yeah,
with
yeah,
that being said, man, getting into it, how are we feeling this year about not only the bipolarness of this Miami Heat team that
yeah,
failed to get Dame, that failed to get True Holiday, that failed to stop Jimmy Butler from
Oh no,
wearing this?
they still got Caleb Martin. He just didn't play. Okay, I'm about to say I didn't hear Caleb Martin go anywhere. He
I
didn't
thought he
play
left.
due. No, he didn't play due to injury and
Mm.
illness.
But how
So
do we feel about the Jimmy Butler hair?
it was hilarious. You know
I
what?
love it.
Like I told people, look, she said stop playing. No, but let me tell you something, man. Honestly,
Right.
I knew, Jimmy Butler does things like this. Remember the last media
The
press?
dreads.
He had the fake false dreads, like dude,
Yep.
like everybody, like dude, your dreads ain't grew that quick. As a guy's never supposed to wear weave. That's not our thing. So to see him do that and to just make fun of it, and then everybody been talking about him being depressed and down since they didn't get Dame or Drew. And he came in with his tonight would be the night that I
I
will
will
fall
fall
for
for
you.
you over again. That's my jam. Don't make me change my mind. I hate that era, bro. I can't stand him. I can't stand every white dude in the early 2000s. It sucks
Oh,
like this, man. What are you doing, man? What's going on? Name's Kyle. Hate my mom and I hate my dad. Rock out in my garage.
hey, boy, you got issues, man.
Tonight will be the night that I will fall for you. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here with that.
Oh God,
But man, Rob, I wanna pick your brain, bro, on a real note,
hell nah.
because I'm watching 3 quarters of basketball. Jimmy Butler has 6 points. We saw last
Hmm.
year he was
Yeah,
cooking True Holiday on the
it
Milwaukee
was.
Bucks, and a big part of that was because, in my personal opinion, I love both of them. So I'm on both sides here. I'm on both sides. Friendly fire, friendly fire. I'm stepping in the room. I gotta let both of my kids know y'all both messing up. All right, here's what I saw. When Chris Middleton stepped down, Brooke
Hmm.
Lopez taking a step back, Bobby Portis stepping up. But even so, you needed the best out of True Holiday every
Hmm.
single night in that Milwaukee Bucks series. And I think that's exactly what you saw last year was a true Holiday that had to be more offensively driven. Now that he's with the Boston Celtics, oh, I'm the new Marcus Smart, baby. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to care about offense. I got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Al Horford from time to time. And on top of that, Rob, Derek White with over 25 points last night was
Mm-hmm.
absolutely crazy. I mean, the bald man's doing it. The bald man's doing it. He's Michael Jordan 2.0.
But Derek White has been good. I think he used to play the Spurs, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
he
was
comes from
always a
a system, so you know what I mean.
always a bucket. But let me ask you this though: True Holiday versus Jimmy Butler in that matchup, is that the definitive that is going to be how they defeat the Miami Heat? Pardon me.
Well, I think that's how Boston is going to defeat everybody. Like, you know, you made an interesting point as we were talking earlier. Excited about doing this show. Excited about what we can do on this platform. And we were talking about the Boston Celtics, and you made a point of you don't think that Jason Tatum can do both things at the same
Yeah.
time. Like he can't play offense and play defense because somewhere down the line something is going to suffer. Like he can play great defense or he can play great
And
offense.
do that
But
because I know
yeah,
people right now, Rob. I know people are typing right now. They don't know
yeah,
what they're talking about. My
yeah,
example talking to Rob earlier was I think Jason Tatum is a great defender. I think
hmm,
Jason Tatum is a great scorer.
yeah.
But the problem is I never see it at the same time consistently. The only time I really ever saw that was very early on against against the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals 2018, if I'm not mistaken. That was the
Hmm.
only time I mean, he was out there giving Braun that work as a young gun. So I loved seeing that. But breaking that down though, look at what happened in the finals. There were a couple nights that Tatum went crazy, but to concur that and say, hey, listen, Andrew Wiggins went crazy too. But
Hmm.
on the nights that he locked down Andrew Wiggins, there were multiple times that Jason Tatum had less than 15 points in those games. And obviously that's a small sample size, but it's when the brights were the lightest, bro. Like
Hmm.
what do you want me to judge? You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that is the finals. That is the NBA finals. I need to see the best from you. Jaylen Brown showed me. He showed me what was up. He showed me he was in there like swimwear, baby. You heard? Argue with your mama, not with me, because Jaylen Brown is 1A. And to me, Jason Tatum is one B, and that's just really what it is. And I
That's not
think
how Boston looks at it.
it's not. But here's my thing. I mean, you just gave Jaylen Brown $300 million, so
What you
maybe
think
it is.
Jason Tatum about to get?
Shoot, that's the
Jason
problem.
Tatum was about to hit 350.
I think he about to hit four.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If they gave Jalen Brown $300 million, they
Mm-hmm.
about to give Jason Tatum 350.
But now that you have a guy like True Holiday, an offensive guy, an even better defensive guy,
But you're not looking for him to do anything offensively.
exactly. So
That's
now
what I was about to say.
Jason can just
Now
live his life.
it's going to be a habit. Now that's going to be the recipe of success for Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Holiday is going to be taking the best wing player, the best perimeter player. Drew Holiday is because you got to remember Drew Holiday is not no little dude.
A bucket, a
He's not
walking
no
bucket.
little guy. So
Yeah.
you mean I know he's a point guard, but look, let me look up his height right now. They say you got him listed at 6'4". So even as a point guard, he's D Wade type.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? This is not no small guy, a guy that you can just bully, and he's not a little guy either.
Right.
Like he's not a guy that doesn't have a little muscle on him. So you talk about with him and then Jalen Brown, you know, regardless of him getting paid or not, he's gonna always have this chip on his shoulder because before he got paid, he was always mentioned on the trading block every time. He's like, didn't I just kill in the finals?
Yep.
Was I not just the best person on the floor in the finals? Look what
Yep.
I've done in the playoffs. I'm stable. I'm here. Jason Tatum gets hurt in game 7. I'm here. I'm available. So, you know, why is it that my name always come up in trade talk? And then they bring in a Kristaps Porzingis who he is a underrated shot blocker and a guy that can really stretch the
Yeah,
floor
it's
and he
really
gonna
just
get
when
his
he's
bucket.
healthy.
Yeah, it's always been a health problem with Porzingis. So,
Mhm.
and I think them having Al Horford there and the fact that they are not relying on Porzingis because what the Celtics are doing they're not even allowing you to get down there to Porzingis. They're gonna keep you up top and make you shoot shots.
Yep.
You know that you're gonna have to outshoot me. I'm not gonna just let you get easy buckets. So I know I was talking with my guy Max. You know, to him and his opinion, he think that Milwaukee is just all said and done. That's gonna be your new champ. I'm telling you right now, that battle in the Eastern Conference Finals between Boston and Milwaukee is gonna be one for the ages. I got them going to 7. And don't be surprised if Boston is able to outduel Milwaukee. I just won't be surprised. because now you're asking Dame to do
Hmm.
this on Drew, and
So
that's gonna be a problem.
the question for me, man,
Yeah.
and it's something that you hate to even say it
Mhm.
because every time I say maybe, Jimmy
Mhm.
Butler shows me that
Mhm.
tonight will be the night that I will fall for you over again. But it's literally that's what it is, man. Because every time somebody tries to convince me that the Miami Heat will not go on another run to get to the NBA Finals, he
They go
shows
on
me
another
exactly why
run.
they do.
Yeah.
But with the legitimacy of these moves, of Dame going to Milwaukee, of Porzingis and True Holiday going to Boston while still holding on to pieces like Derek White and Al Horford, still
Mhm.
having JB and JT,
Mhm.
Double J. You have that conversation though, man. Like, is Miami done? Like what do you think? Because remember, a big part of why that even happened last year was because
Mhm.
Max Strauss caught fire against the Chicago Bulls, and it
Mhm.
carried all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Duncan Robinson, who was MIA, Jimmy Neutron, was missing in action for 3 years. 3 years after the bubble, that man was just out here making podcasts.
Yeah.
That was it. He wasn't doing jack nothing else. He was DMP, not even on the bench. DMP, basura,
Yeah.
gone. Rob Scott taught me that word. I've been going crazy with it. But
Hey, I've been hearing everybody. I'm the originator of saying trash. Okay? And I understand my boy Bubba Dub, shout out to Bubba Dub if y'all want to see him on Instagram. He has taken over this word. So I
mm-hmm,
said, you know what? I'm just gonna call you trash in a different language. And if somebody steal basura, I'm gonna find out how to call somebody garbage in Dutch. And then I'm gonna find out how to call somebody garbage in Russian. And then I'm gonna find out how to call somebody basura in Chinese. I'm gonna always stay ahead of the curve because
come
guess
on,
what? Trash is trash. I don't care what language you say
come
it
on, come on. Chicago White Sox, trash, basura. No, but on a serious note, man, to get to those finals, obviously there's luck that goes into it. Health is such a big part of it. Just being in the right place, the right time, having the right system, it's all part of it. But how much can you trust Caleb Martin and Duncan Robinson to carry Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo as being the co-stars? When you look at the co-stars of the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics, a big thing for me is Miami doesn't have the star names, but they have the star culture of guys who buy into that system. But do
Mhm.
you think that system is enough now? Because we're getting to a point to where kind of like the Warriors, not saying they're the same as the 17, 18 Warriors, but there's so many star-driven players on this team that I can trust that I just don't think a guy like Max Strauss, Duncan Robinson, or even Caleb Martin would be able to combat with a guy like True Holiday, with a guy like Giannis, with a guy like Dame, with a guy like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Rob, I'm never going to count out Jimmy. You know that's my guy.
Mhm.
But what I am counting out is the physicality and the drive of Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero's health, and then after that, I don't think I can. Kevin Love is still there, but after that, I don't think I can name four other players on the Miami Heat. I
Uh,
probably could. I probably could. Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, but you know what I'm trying to say.
no, I wasn't even gonna try to name any other players. I agree with you. Like I don't like to count the Heat out either because I know when playoff time comes around, Jimmy turns into a different animal.
Kobe.
But the thing is, you don't want to keep playing with fate. You don't want to keep
Right.
being in seventh and eighth place and barely making it in the play-in tournament, and then being at a disadvantage with home court advantage. You, these are not the teams to play with. And I know what I said about Boston with Drew and Dame, but that's still Damian Lillard, man. Like Milwaukee just received a top 75 player. They just received a game changer in Dame. Like we've seen what he's done for this Portland organization for a long time, a
Mm-hmm.
long time. People were excited to see. We always thought, what if Brandon Roy would have been able to stay there, and what if LaMarcus Aldridge would have been, there when Dane was starting to make his ascent as a superstar in this league. It would have been a lot of things to go on, but he still kept Portland in a playoff position and relevant. And at one point in time, they got to the Western Conference Finals. where they will eventually lose to the Warriors. Because a lot of people lost to the Warriors in the playoffs. So now, as you said, Giannis has never had anybody like Dame. Dame has never had anybody like Giannis, and the Milwaukee organization, that fan base, that city, they have really taken Dame in, and you can tell he's happy. I mean, you just heard the remix they did on the Shaq and Kobe when he
Mm-hmm.
actually did the remix with Shaq, and
Yup.
they both went crazy. So to see this
You
Dame,
mean you mean Diesel?
yeah, oh that's
Yeah.
Shaq, baby. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
Diesel.
That's the original Shaq.
That's Diesel. That's
Hey,
Diesel. Chuck.
hey, but let me tell you, they went crazy. You know
They
what I'm
went
saying?
crazy.
So I know you guys are gonna have a lot to just tune in. Make sure you guys stay here with me and Mike, man, throughout this NBA season, throughout this NFL season. We won't just be limited to basketball as
Yep.
well. We are both lovers of football.
Man, come
And
on.
I promise to Mike, I'm making this promise right now here publicly. I'm gonna do everything in my power. I'm gonna hit up all my baseball fans, a sports judge, now you guys. I'm gonna come to learn firsthand about this
Hey, you
game
got
of
you got
baseball.
you got 4 to 6 months. You got 4 to 6 months. Game one of the World Series just
I'm gonna
wrapped
learn.
up.
I'm gonna
Game
call my
two.
cousin Sean. Hey, shout out to my cousin Sean, who's a huge baseball fan. I think he's actually doing some coaching now, and he has his son playing baseball. And being an African American male, growing up, we wasn't always into baseballs, but we know we've done some great things in this game. So it's about time I start to learn this game,
Come on.
so I could talk with you during the off season. Because like I told Q, man, when football and basketball goes off, I am completely lost at something
Yep.
until
It happens.
until we start. Because I'm just not a baseball fan,
It
man.
happens. We're gonna get you there, Rob. We're gonna get you there. But you talked about some crazy stuff. I want to talk about a matchup that I wouldn't have seen being one of the bigger rivalries in sports.
Okay.
It's crazy to me, man. You look at Curry, you look at what he's able to do. I look at Kevin Durant, I look at Jokic, I look at John Morant, who said he's fine in the West. He looks fine to me. I mean, he's just sitting pretty now. He's suspended. But no, I'm playing. You got Kevin Durant, D Book. But last night, we saw a show. We saw a show, Rob. 39 4-4 from De'Aaron Fox and
Mm.
41 4-4. Almost identical numbers going down to the wire. Going crazy though. An absolutely phenomenal masterpiece of a game. 122 to 114, but don't be fooled. It was a tight game throughout. Rob, take me through what it was like last night where Curry said, fuck that beam.
Hey, I loved it though. Hey, you know what? Every time Sacramento and Golden State plays each other, it becomes a playoff like atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason, because rivalries are created in the playoffs. And they played such a great series against each other. That went to seven. Golden State had to win a game seven, and Sacramento, so to speak, had his coming out party. So to actually see that, and to see the development of players like De'Aaron Fox, and them getting some bonus, and bringing in a Malik Monk from that Los Angeles Lakers squad, we start to see that Sacramento is gonna make some noise, and they're gonna be tough. I'm happy for the city of Sacramento, because I know how great their former teams used to be with
Mm-hmm.
Vlade Divac and Mike Bibby and Doug Christie and Chris Webber. I remember Peja Stojakovic. I remember that squad. You know what I mean? So to see Sacramento get back in that light is gonna be beautiful. But Curry just had to let the young boys know, I see y'all coming, but this ain't your time yet. As
Right.
long as I'm here, it ain't your time yet, man. What Curry does on the court is just simply unbelievable. And I'm not. I have to just tell everybody that, hey, shout out to my little brother for watching, man. I appreciate you for being here. But you know, I'm not so quick to count out the Warriors yet. I know I got Denver as my projected champions this year, but I'm not counting out the Warriors yet. And that's just because Steph Curry has the ability to just go nuclear.
Yeah.
And we've never seen anybody like him yet. And if Clay can turn it around, if Draymond comes back healthy and playing great, you got Chris Paul, you got some good young players in Kaminga and Moody. That just, you still got big wigs there, and you still got Looney there. You can't count out this squad, man.
No, for sure. And last night, I mean, let's even get into that like really quick. Six players in double figures on the Warriors. You had Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, Chris Paul, Kuminga, and Moody. And then you still had guys like Peyton giving you 7 points. You still had Looney giving you 8, and that's without Draymond Green. So, I mean, offensively, that team is just ready to get going. But two guys that are ready to get going and one guy that had a welcome to the NBA moment.
Yeah.
Chet Holmgren
And Wimby,
and Wemby, baby.
Wimby,
Victor Wembanyama, who
Wimby.
had an amazing performance last night. These two going tick for tack. This will be one of our last topics of the night, but I want to talk about the Eiffel Towers, man. Rob, I want to start with you, man. Take me through Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Scoot Henderson, I want to also give some love to Brandon Miller. Stay over there until you show me otherwise. Stay over there. But no, Scoot is definitely in the conversation, but obviously the favorites are the Eiffel Towers right now. Can you talk to me
Yeah.
a little bit about the difference between the two? Because a lot of people I feel like love them for so many different reasons.
I think you love them both because of what they can do on the defensive side, um, and the fact that they can both stretch the ball. However, I think the whole rave with Wimbyama, he's a 7'4" small forward, so to speak. People don't even look at him as a center. Like the way that this guy moves, the way that this guy can shoot the ball with such effort, and the way his ball handling skills, I think the guy is going to be great. But you can kind of almost say the same thing about Chet. The way that Chet can move with the ball and the way Chet is. I mean, Chet had a clutch fourth quarter 3-pointer yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
As OKC they had to climb back into a game.
Yep.
And Chet and Shea was going crazy. Chet with 7 blocks on the night. And then we see what Wimby does, getting the Spurs their first win early in the season, starting off the game slow, but completely taking over in the fourth quarter. Had some big threes, had some big blocks, including two back-to-back blocks on who was that from Houston that he had those back-to-back blocks on? The
Actually, I
guy
was
they
watching on
drafted.
my phone.
It was the guy they drafted last year.
Alfin Sengun.
No, not Sengun. It was I'll tell you right now.
I had the
The forward.
I was working the job last night, so I was watching on the phone. I was getting notifications. I couldn't see the visuals, but I was listening, ladies and gentlemen. I was listening.
Yeah, but no, I mean Wimby had a great game last night, and
Hmm.
as I mentioned, Houston, they came out playing tough
Yeah, I mean
against
Dylan Brooks
Wimby.
and company have been doing their thing, man. I mean, they're showing you that they're gritty.
Jabari Smith.
Oh, little bro. That's not little bro. I mean,
Yeah,
to Victor, it's a little bro. Everybody's
yeah.
little bro. But
Yeah, he
um,
had two back-to-back blocks on him. I mean, he was on a fast break and he tried to dunk Wimby. Wimby blocked that, and I guess he thought Wimby was out to play. He was able to get his own rebound,
hmm
and he tried to go back up quickly, and Wimby blocked that. I'm just like, man, you can't teach stuff like
can't.
that. That comes from instinct, and you got to look at the Spurs team with Keldon Johnson, Vassell, Zach Collins. They got Trey Jones over there coming out to college. They bring in Cedi Osman from Cleveland. You still have Doug McDermott. This is not a team that you just simply overlook. And you still have Coach Pops as the coach. And you can just tell that he is in love with Wemby. He
Yeah.
is in love with Wemby. And Wemby, it was ironic. I saw a stat that in the game debuts, him and Tim Duncan had similar numbers.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're
6 for 9,
comparing him,
baby. 6 for 9.
yeah, 15 points. And, as I mentioned, for him to have such a slow start and still be able to come back in and really dominate the fourth quarter, and we know what Hogan could do. Unfortunately, he missed all of last season, last year. But, for him to be able to come in and show what he can do as a player in this league, man, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be tough for a lot of people this year. I think the rookie of the year is gonna come down to those two guys,
Mm-hmm.
and may the best man win. Honestly,
100%. 100%. I think Victor is a generational talent. I don't see the overhype. I don't see the bust. I see a guy that will go as far as his body lets him. I agree. Same thing with Chet. I mean, we already saw with Chet what happened last season. This isn't
Yeah,
a traditional rookie year. This is a guy who sat for a year, and then got his ankles broken by Andre Drummond, and then got postered by Nikola Vucevic, and they still beat the Bulls. But whatever,
yeah, and then they beat the Cavaliers. So I mean, the
they're
Bulls
doing
say
it.
what you want, they're okay, but the
They're doing it.
Cavaliers is a nice little young tough team. Even though
Oh yeah.
they were without Darius Garland yesterday, but even so, Donovan Mitchell, he was starting to really take that game over. And as I mentioned in the fourth
Hmm.
quarter, these guys stand up and they start to say enough is enough. And honestly, with Chet, I think Chet might have a little bit of an advantage, and that's just due to the fact that
Right.
he's around stars.
I mean,
See,
dude,
Wemby is the star right now,
real quick,
unfortunately.
Rob. That trade, looking back
Yeah,
on it,
yeah,
for Paul George,
yeah.
Shea Z Alexander, SGA,
SGA is a dog, man.
and multiple first round picks
Oh
to the
my God.
OKC Thunder for Paul George. I mean, I'm gonna be real. You let me know if I'm crazy. SGA is already better than both Kawhi and Paul George. Not accolade wise, not all time, but
If
at
we
this
just
very
talking
moment,
about play right now,
right?
yes,
As
I
of right
agree.
now, SGA is a top 10 player in this league.
I agree. I agree. Well,
And both of
I
them,
put him top 15, but I agree.
yeah, yeah, yeah. ESPN. I'm only saying that ESPN put him
Yeah,
at 8, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
I thought it was a little too soon as
I
well,
think
but
he's top 15 though, for sure,
I think I would even say
for
top 12,
sure.
top 10.
I
But
I'll go with that. I'll go with top 12 for
yeah,
sure,
yeah, yeah.
for sure.
As much as of a bias I have, I'm not going to put Jimmy Butler over him. You know what I mean? So I think there's
I
a lot
I
of that.
I did in my top 10, and the reason I put Jimmy Butler over him is because of the playoff performance. We
100%.
you know what I mean. But if we just talking about a
But
bona fide stud, that SGA is him.
when you
You
talk
don't
about
get a nickname from me unless you a dog.
you get those Mike Hughes receipts though from the regular season, Jimmy Butler be screwing me over every regular season. But no, man, I think this is a great place to leave off as our final topic right here. The Chicago Bulls. Talk about our guys. I know everybody's watching right now. They want to hear
Yeah.
us bitch and complain about what we've seen so far. 1-1 start. Also, I do want to say something
Are
really
we one
quickly.
and one?
1-1.
Who do we beat?
We beat Toronto last night on an overtime game winner 3 from Caruso. Come on, baby. And you know what? You know what felt even sweeter? You know what felt even sweeter, Rob? Can
Yeah.
I have the floor?
You might certainly have.
Sir, I'll bring you right back. Let me take y'all through a walk real quick. Mrs. Scott, cover your ears. You know, in around June, July, this motherfucker James Wade decided that he was going to leave my friends, my loved ones, Kalia Copper in the Chicago sky in the middle of a season. In the middle of a season where he traded away all the draft capital, where he said that this was going to be the year that we go after it. We don't care. We are in this together. And he left in the thick of night, never to be seen again. He left the Chicago Sky to join the Toronto Raptors. And the Chicago Bulls said, Rob Scott, hold my fucking beer. He came right back. Zach LaVine, Caruso, DeMar DeRozan and company, and Torrey Craig. Torrey fucking Craig. We're going to talk about it. Went up to Dwayne Wade. Went up to Pascal Siakam. OG.
James Wade. I got you.
James Wade. Dwayne Wade. Well, Dwayne Wade's with the Sky now.
Nah,
We got the
he's the
better Wade.
owner of the sky, so we
We,
love Dwayne
we
Wade.
got the better D Wade now. But with that being said, man, hey, Chicago showed up. Chicago showed out. It's all love to James Wade at the end of the day, in all seriousness. But I had to give that little dig because I know it. I know it meant something for him to play against the Chicago Bulls. And I want you to know, we still know what you did. We still feel you. We appreciate you for the championship, but we don't forget the way you leave. Remember, Rob says it all the time. Rob taught me this when I first met him. It ain't about what you did. It's about what you do
Yeah.
currently. What are you doing for me now? And the
What
way
you
you did
doing
us,
for me now?
what you did was bogus, and we didn't forget about it. Caruso, obviously, DeMar DeRozan, and Rob. I don't know if you watched the game.
I saw a
Caruso with
little bit of it.
Caruso with the steal, gives it to DeMar, sends it to overtime. Then Zach comes out. Zach's scary. Zach don't want to go for an easy bucket. Dishes it out to Caruso. Last second shot. Bang, baby. Cookies all day.
Yeah,
Cookies all day.
Zach didn't have a great game, and that's the only thing. I know we want to cut it in right here, but as I mentioned before on my platform, your platform,
Mm-hmm.
now our platform, I'm mentioning it. if the Bulls are gonna do anything this year, if they're gonna make the playoffs, if they're gonna make a little noise in the Eastern Conference, Zach LaVine has to step up. Like,
Right.
DeRozan has been stepping up. I thought DeRozan had taken a step back, but you see he goes for 33 last night, still showing that he's the man on his team.
Mm-hmm.
Zach, you got this max extension, man. I need you to start playing like a $200 million man.
Yep. And
I
Rob, really
need you to
quick,
play like
you
that.
know what happened in game one, right?
What talking
Started
about?
the game, 3 fouls, 4 turnovers, 0 for 5 from the field in the first quarter.
And that's our number two guy.
That's supposed to be the franchise guy.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. DeMar was remember what it was, ladies and gentlemen.
DeMar was brought in as the icing on the cake.
Right.
But
You brought in Lonzo, Vooch, and DeMar to build around Zach, and it's
yeah.
turned into DeMar holding Zach's hand the entire time.
Yeah, and it's and a lot of people that still Zach lovers have been trying to talk about DeMar stunting his growth. No, DeMar is doing what he has to do to win
Right.
a game.
Now, I will say, I think he stunts Patrick Williams' growth, but that's a whole different thing because I
Patrick
don't think
Williams is basura.
is
You
man.
just gotta admit that to yourself,
No,
man.
I've been knowing, but I don't think he's ever going to be able to develop unless he is on a completely rebuilding team. And I think that's something where for me, I've talked to you about it, man. I believe Patrick Williams would be best coming off the bench, being the number one option off the bench. Torrey Craig's 3-and-D defense, he's absolutely phenomenal. He shot 75%. He was 3 for 4 from 3 on game 1. Obviously, last night he was great as well. And man, standalone Pat just stands there. I got Torrey Craig out here getting buckets and boards. He's doing it both, and he's playing great defense. I think if you had a starting five, Rob, being completely real, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Torrey Craig, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic / Andre Drummond, because you know I love Drummond more than Vuce in that five. But I think
I
that
would definitely play Torrey Craig over Patrick Williams.
I would too, and I don't know why it's
Without a
not a
shadow of a doubt.
conversation. I don't know why it hasn't happened
Because
already.
Billy Donovan is our coach.
Exactly. But I'm gonna ask you one last thing about the Bulls, and then we're gonna get out of here. James Harden is available, Rob.
Well, actually, I think that's what they're talking about now.
Let's
But
talk.
what that does mean is that uh you got to get rid of DeRozan. There's no way you keep
Would
DeRozan.
you be willing?
No,
No, not at all.
no,
Not a shot.
not at all.
Not a shot.
Not
I
at
think
all.
you can look at the roster, and you could say, "Listen, here's how the landscape would look." All right. You have James Harden, Zach LaVine, Torrey Craig, Patrick Williams, and Nikola Vucevic.
Mm.
That's nice. It's not bad. But you know what I see? A lot of offers in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Pat ain't giving you nothing.
Mm-mm.
Zach ain't giving you nothing.
Mm-mm.
We know what James did in the playoffs last year. Couldn't even give you 10 points in a game 7. Crazy. Neither could Joel though. So I want that energy to remain.
I wouldn't even teeter totter with that idea
I don't like it. I
of
don't think
James
it's a
Harden
good
for
idea.
DeMar DeRozan. I would tell them you have to go find someone else.
Yeah, you
Unless you're gonna send me Tyrese Maxey too.
Hey man, if they want Zach,
I'll take Max.
if they want
No,
listen,
no. You only getting DeMar. You're not getting both Zach
well, hear me
and
out, hear
DeMar
me
for
out, hear me
Tyrese
out,
and James
hear
Harden.
me
That's
out.
not an even trade.
I'll give you and if I'm arguing, you know what I mean? This is just me. If I had to say, I'll give you Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine for Maxey and James Harden.
Then if I'm Philly, I'm saying no.
It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? We're not going to hit that. We're not going to hit that agreement. But man, that's enough Bulls because we really got nothing else going. I went on my little James Wade rant. The James Harden thing ain't going. We ain't rocking with either of the Jameses today. It's just not happening. The Bulls are 1-1.
We'll talk about next show. This in-season tournament that's supposed to be starting November 3rd. And then also too, just a quick announcement with the NBA. The NBA now has announced that they're going back to their old school format for the All-Star game of the East versus West. They're no longer doing the bona fide pickup games. We'll be talking about on our next show why we think this rule was changed and if going forward they should always stick to this format. It's a lot to talk about, y'all. As you guys know, this has been the first episode here on Mars, and we appreciate you guys for leaving Earth to join us in the skies above, man. Make sure you guys always stay tuned on Tuesdays, and are we saying Saturdays is our day now?
We could do Saturdays.
I think I like Saturdays
I
as our
like
day.
Saturdays as well.
Yeah. Make sure you join us Tuesdays and Saturdays as me and my boy Mike continue to take you guys out this atmosphere, man. We appreciate you guys and tune in. Make sure you tune in a lot more because, and make sure you comment if you want to see your comment pop up here on the screen and you want to make this show as interactive as possible. We welcome your thoughts and we'll let you know what we think about what y'all think because this is what we do.
100%, 100%. Don't forget though, if you can't see us, you don't want to watch us on YouTube, you don't want to watch us on Facebook, you can find us on Spotify at Welcome to Mars Podcast. You can always check us out there. This will be going up later tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can also check out our YouTube channel. Within the next 24 hours, we will be able to upload live. So you can always check us out there. The first video will be posted as a video, but everything else will be going through the live. So just go on our page, Welcome to Mars, hit that follow button, or go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you may listen to, and check us out there. Even if you listen to Anchor, we don't judge you. I listen to it. You listen to it. Google Podcast, whatever it may be. We are in there like swimwear, baby. Next week, like Rob said, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, the All-Star game and so much more. But a big thing that I'm excited about that we're going to be breaking down is just talking overall players that we're excited to see moving forward. We got some guys that aren't named Wemby. We got some guys that aren't named Chet that I'm really excited for. Mrs. Scott, you know what to do. You know what to do. Cook. I want to join the family, Mrs. Scott. But with that being said, before Mrs. Scott climbs through the TV and smacks me one, I'm going to let you guys see this intro one last time. This isn't going to be at the end of every show, but just for the one time. Here we go with the intro. We appreciate you guys for listening. This is Mike Hughes and Rob Scott. Welcome to Mars, baby. Let's just feel